Hi, I'm Ervin, a tour guide from Slovenia and a member of Private Guide Slovenia family for over a decade now. Since we're locked in, I would like to invite you to our virtual tour of Slovenia. Welcome.
Dobar dan, my name is Sašo. I'm part of the team Private Guide Slovenia. Usually we would be busy at bees, guiding. This year, as you all know, we are grounded. So we decided to offer you some virtual tours of Slovenia. Come join us.
Dobar dan, my name is Tina and I'm a tour guide from Slovenia. At the moment we are grounded, so we just decided to do virtual tours. Join us on Private Guide Slovenia. Dobar dan, welcome to Slovenia, at least virtually. In episode 1 we'll be talking about the most famous village in Slovenia, Vrba, V-R-B-A. We are willing to state that every Slovenian has been here at least once in their lifetime. Let us explain why.
Vrba is a small village in the northwestern part of Slovenia, nestled under the foot of the Karavanke mountain range. In the past, the area was known for growing millet. It was the staple of the diet, hence the nickname for the area, Kašarija, a word that it's quite impossible to translate into English, since it would make absolutely no sense, but loosely translated it means porridge area.
Let's go back a couple of decades. More precisely, to year 1800. It marks the birth year of the still unsurpassed genius of Slovene poetry, Mr. Prešeren. We'll start our virtual exploration of Slovenia at his birthhouse.
In that period, Slovenia was a part of the Austrian Empire, one of its southern provinces. Life for the local population was not always easy. One of the major disturbances was the banning of Slovenian language from public life. This makes the poetry of Prešeren even more important, elevating a language of peasants into an art form. At this point, we must also mention that our language was kept alive in the countryside. City folks only spoke German.
Despite the fact that Prešeren was a law student in Vienna, where German was the only language in use, he still dreamt in Slovenian. His exposure to the life in Vienna, the current political situation of the period, the neglect of the government to certain national ideas, motivated Prešeren to kindle hope in the hearts of his nation. He could do that through poetry. To help you understand his thoughts, here is a part of our national anthem that Prešeren wrote in the later stages of his writing.
God's blessing on all nations, who long and work for that bright day, when o'er earth's habitations no war, no strife shall hold its sway. Who long to see that all men free, no more shall foes but neighbors be.
These are his thoughts about a possible new political orientation, not just at home, but globally. The depth of thought made it easy for this poem, named a toast, to be adopted as the national anthem of newly independent Slovenia in 1991. Even at present day, this work of art can provide food for the thought.
We are in the birthhouse of Prešeren. The original building dates back to the 16th century, but it is considered one of the oldest houses in the village. The house was remodeled a few times, but some of the early elements remain. We see a slightly different image of the house as Prešeren did, since it was quite heavily damaged in a fire in 1856. Nowadays, the house is a museum, taking us back in time. The house is visited by all elementary school pupils from across Slovenia, especially in February. February 8 is a national holiday in Slovenia. Not many nations celebrate a poet with a work-free day.
When traveling through the Slovenian countryside, you'll note that it's dotted with churches and small chapels. Vrba is no exception. The patron saint of the village is Saint Mark. This church is mentioned in Prešeren's poetry as well. This is a poem dedicated to his home village.
Vrba, happy village, my old home, my father's cottage stands there to this day. The lure of learning beckoned me away, its serpent wiles enticing me to roam. Else, had I never known that heart's joy, sweet promise could become a poisoned drought. Not known myself of self-belief bereft, tossed in internal tempests like a toy. A dowry riches never could surpass, a faithful heart, a hand that's made for work, would have come with a chosen country lass. Serenely onward would have sailed my bark, my house from fire, my corn from hailstorm loss, safeguarded by my neighbor near St. Mark.
Not all villages have central squares, but the people needed a place to gather. A historical element that is rare find in Slovenia is preserved here in Vrba. Nicknamed the village parliament, it is a simple open area under a linden tree. The 16 stones arranged around the tree belong to the 16 well-off families of the village. The gatherings were not of social nature. Important matters of the village were discussed here by the elders. In modern times, it sadly does not represent a gathering place anymore.
This is it for this episode. Thank you for exploring Slovenia with us, and until next time, stay curious.